We're going to try this.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, it says we're streaming. Are we getting anything? Are you seeing anything? Are we,
Um,
are we seeing anything? Oh my gosh. Come on. Come on. Work with me. Work with me, internet. Work with me, internet. Please work with me, internet. Anything, internet? Do we have any? I think I see something in the preview, but I don't know if that's live.
in the preview, it says live.
Okay, I think we're live. I think it might just be super delayed.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
we're live.
oh,
Yeah. I'm not sure how or what's happening, but we're live.
people are staring at me.
It's okay. Totally okay. We should be jumping up and down.
Oh.
I look like I'm frozen now. Oh, we're on. Okay, we're on a delay.
Okay.
We're 100% delay.
Okay, well then we're just gonna keep it going and just pray that everything's
Just
great.
gonna go with it.
We're just gonna pray everything's great. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What a day. So
Oh my gosh. All right, they see you. They see me. It's hysterical. Okay, let's fix our hair and then let's go.
all right, so hey everybody. If you're
Amazing.
catching this, this is the Yarn Thing podcast. What an adventure! We have been trying to go live since 1 o'clock. I am now at Panera Bread, and of course, I sat right in front of the doors. So you're going to see people walking behind me, like trying to figure out what's going on. Those of you who don't know, YouTube changed the way we can do live streaming with groups. We no longer can do Google Hangouts on air. So I've had to find alternatives, and so this is an alternative we're trying out. And yeah, so it obviously needs a really good, strong signal for the internet. I don't have that at my house yet because internet's not hooked up yet. So I'm at Panera. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting so many people. Anyways, so hey guys, I am here with Meredith from Beadalon. So hey Meredith.
Hi, everybody.
She's been chatting away in the chat room, which is lovely because she was helping me tell people that we were having some technical difficulties. This is by far the worst technical difficulties I've ever had. Like I've never had to leave my house and drive to another place.
I feel so honored that you did it for me, though. So honored that you did it for
I
me.
would do anything for you, anything for you. So the funny thing here is I have no idea what we're talking about anymore because I'm so flustered.
Did you at least get yourself a cup of coffee
No.
at the Starbucks?
No, so
I wish. So I feel like I want to like. Can I order one and have it delivered to your Starbucks for you? Can somebody please do that for
but I'm
Marley?
at Panera. Starbucks is next door. It was full.
You are
I'm at Panera.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
I know. And there's people eating lunch all around me, and so when I did my cheer, everybody turned around and looked at me. I was like, awesome. I'm that girl. I'm that new girl in town.
Well, everybody should start getting to know you.
That's it.
The new girl is in town.
So
Somebody is here from Dubai. How cool is that?
somebody's here from Dubai. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
okay, so here I am thinking that you're at Starbucks. All right, you're at Panera. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's just jump in and let's try and salvage everything we have. First off, Meredith, thank you so much for joining me and being quite the trooper through the adventure. You guys, it's kind of funny. I had my laptop open and Meredith was still in Skype as I was driving to the Panera. So she's talking to me from the passenger seat.
It's awesome. But you had your phone turned, so I couldn't see you. I could only see the back of the passenger seat. It was fabulous.
Hilarious. So Meredith, let's tell people who you are so that they kind of have a good clue of what this is all about today, because you are an extraordinary, talented person and you work at Beadalon. So I'm going to let you kind of tell your story.
My story, okay, well, I have a lot of different stories to tell, but to answer your first question, I am let's see, what am I? I am the product marketing coordinator. And they threw in expert beater on my business card, I think as a joke, but it kind of makes me feel special and important. So I'm going to just go with it. But I have been with Beadalon now for 12 years. And should I tell people a little bit about what Beadalon is? Because I'm imagining that your group are a lot of fiber artists, whereas when I do my Facebook Live and my YouTubes, we're talking to bead artists. And it's funny, I was thinking when we were talking earlier, or when I was thinking about us talking earlier, whenever I start my Facebook Lives, I always say, hey, beady friends. But then I was like, well, what am I going to say? Hey, yarny friends? Hey, crochet-y friends? And then I decided, hey, fiber friends would be good, like kind of all-encompassing, right? So I will say hi to all of the fiber friends. So I'm Meredith Roddy, and I, like I said, I work for a company called Beadalon. And what we do is actually manufacture the wire used to make jewelry. So actual like stranded, I brought visual aids here. The actual wire that's used to make jewelry. We manufacture that. It used to be in Westchester. We just moved. Speaking of moving, Marley, we just moved our whole factory up to Coatesville, which is about 25, 30 minutes away. So imagine moving like stranding machines and I don't know, other machines and more, just so many machines, all moved out to Coatesville. But we also, in addition to manufacturing the wire, and amongst other things, we do some memory wire and some other plating type involvements. We also sell all of the pieces and parts to make jewelry. So that's what I do. That's what Beadalon does. That's all about us.
So let me go back if I can do this split screen. There we are. Look, I'm learning the new technology. Who says old dogs can't be taught? One of the cool things this past weekend, I was at Joann. I was at a new Joann opening, and I made.
It looked like so much fun.
It was so much fun, and I wanted to give away something to people that were there. And Mikey, who I was with, went around and he bought various things from Joann to give out as free gifts to the guests. And I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I knew that you were coming on the show on Monday, and it was like, oh, I'll make stitch markers. So I bought my Beadalon wire and I made stitch markers for everybody. But I didn't have all the Beadalon tools, and I was so like missing them. Like, I'm using some of the cheap stuff, and I was like, oh, sugar. I was like, oh my gosh, because it was a last minute decision, so I didn't bring any of my tools with me, you know. But everybody enjoyed the stitch markers, so that's good. And
oh, did you take pictures? I want to see pictures.
You know what? I don't think I did. Did I take a picture? I don't even know. I'm lucky if I remember to wash my hair at this point. You know, I don't think the YouTube audience knows what has been going on in my life. Like they don't know. Like unless they follow me on Facebook, they have no clue what's going on. So they don't realize that I literally just moved from Colorado to Indiana in the last 3 weeks. Oh yeah, and I taught at Stitches Midwest, and I was just at a PR event in New York and Ohio, and I moved my entire family in 3 days. It's been an adventure. So it's been really good.
And we're doing an event this morning.
Yeah, it's
look,
crazy.
people are giving love for Beadalon. That's so nice.
It's because everybody knows Beadalon. It's such wonderful product. I've never had anything go awry with my Beadalon products. Like, they're absolutely fantastic. So how did you get into jewelry, and so people can be like, why do you have a jewelry person on the show? Well, you are also a knitter, and so let's talk about all of that. I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so how did I get into beading? So I've always been very crafty, as I'm sure many of the people in your group are as well. I loved at summer camp making macrame bracelets, doing finger crochet. My grandmom actually taught me to crochet very, very young. And I've always just kind of wanted to make things with my hands. I raided my dad's tackle box to do stuff, like all different things. And my grandmom's level of the family are all very, very artistic. I have a great aunt who is an artist in New York now. So it's all, I come by it very naturally. My dad is a woodworker. He's very creative as well. And my mom knits. So like I have all of that background behind me. But it all happened probably about 20 years ago. I was working at Temple University in a totally different life, totally different career. I hear a lot of people kind of call it like their real world career. I was doing corporate fundraising for Temple University, and my friend Angela was doing cross stitch, and I was like, huh. That's kind of interesting. That looks like something that I might become obsessed with very quickly. And yes, very quickly. And this was in the very early of the internet. And I would go and just print out patterns and get all of my floss. And this is probably a very familiar story to a lot of people when they're delving into a new craft. And one of the patterns had beads involved. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have all of these little canisters of beads in my desk from when I was a kid. Pulled them out and started incorporating them. That led to my first bead show. That led to my next jewelry making experience. But it all kind of came to a head when I was in anthropology, and there were beautiful French beaded flowers there. And they were, it's anthropology, so it was like a ridiculous amount of money to purchase them. And I was like, I bet I could make those. And there was the rabbit hole. And so I started beading, started going to shows, started buying beads. And I was living in a town in outside of Philadelphia called Chestnut Hill. And a new bead store was opening up. This is kind of the heyday when bead stores were popping up all over the place, and there was one in every little town. And I literally was driving up the hill and did a park, went running across the street, banging on the window. The woman was like, what is going on? And I ended up helping her out in her shop, helping her run her business, teaching some of her classes, helping out with beading parties. And that's really kind of where I got into learning how to teach beading to other people. And then it all kind of came to a head after I got married, and I was looking for a little bit of a change. And I actually went to a career counselor, and she asked me, like, straight up, what do you want to do? What would make you happy? And I said, honestly, I just want to play with beads all day. And she said, why don't you try to make that happen? And I kind of took a step back and I was like, how am I going to make that happen? And through a super random and very, very lucky series of events, I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew who I was product manager here at Beadalon, got my resume here, came in and met everybody. It was a huge love fest for me, a huge love fest for them, and the rest is history.
That's so cool. So I don't know if the screen is looking funny. All right, now I fixed it. I had to fix the screen real quick because it went crazy. So
okay.
And it did it again on this one. I don't know what's going on. Again, just learning things out, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. That's cool. It's funny how things happen like that. How it's just so serendipitous of, oh, I think I can make that, and then it goes, down the rabbit hole, and then one thing leads to another, and you just, you know somebody who knows somebody, and then you end up where you are. My situation is very similar, but it's neat that you're doing all of this, and you're doing something that you love, I assume. And I mean, one of the things that I do ask people when they make their hobby their career, do you find that you still have all the enjoyment you've had in the past with it also?
Well, it's so funny that you ask that, because I watched the podcast that you did with Jill Wiseman, because she is a friend of mine as well. So we have her in common as a friend. And what she was saying is she knits as her kind of outlet, her fun thing. And I do that as well. So I come to the office, I develop beading patterns, I work with all of the supplies, I do all of the beading. And when I need to kind of step away from my job, that's when I actually do mostly crochet. I'm trying to teach myself to knit as well, because I like learning a new technique. The knitting is because it's a little challenging. I find the crochet to be, for the way that I think, a lot more intuitive. It's just, as I always say, it's just practice, 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 and I haven't kind of figured out the practice part of the knitting quite quite as much and as easy.
I understand. It's all right. So crocheting is your outlet then.
Yes, it is. Although I will say that this weekend I sat down and I actually did some beading just for fun, and it was delightful.
That's the best. I love it when I'm able to do that. When I'm able to just pick up my hook or my needle and not worry about what I'm making, or not having to worry about writing down the instructions. Like that's the big one. Just being creative, getting a chance to just do what I want to do. I don't get to do that very often, but it's nice. Actually, that's where beads and jewelry work in for me, because
It's so interesting.
yeah, that's where I can just be as creative as I want. And here's something cool, Meredith. So Alora, my daughter, is a senior in high school. Poor girl, I moved to her senior year of high school, but at this new school, one of the classes is a jewelry class, and I was like, oh, jewelry, I can help with that one. So I was like, yeah. So she signed up for jewelry. I'm so excited to see how that all works out for her. Like, it's just pretty awesome.
They do really cool stuff. My brother actually, I didn't have that kind of jewelry metalsmithing in my high school, but my brother, they did enameling, they did soldering, they did all kinds of metalwork, like really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn what she's gonna do. Like I'm like, you're gonna have to come home and show me. I said I've got a bunch of things, we can do stuff together. She's like,
Like, let me
Mom.
make some calls.
I know, right? Exactly. You know, I could tell you. Are you ready to help me get her an A? We'll have to go to
I know, right?
go to her
Absolutely.
teacher.
Oh my God, we'll do some. Well, now that we know that we can do the Skype, since that's what we're doing for the podcast today, maybe we can do some lessons, and then I can actually sit down. I was going to say like you can teach me how to knit, but like I can just sit down with one of your videos, and then. Which I've done. It's actually funny. I don't know if I told you this when you were here before. I actually like your reputation totally preceded you, because before kind of Caitlin reached out to me and we got together and we became friends. I have Ravelry patterns that you had done when I was like first going down that rabbit hole of looking for patterns.
For
And
real.
you have a very distinctive name, so I always remembered it, and I love your logo and everything. And so that's when Caitlin reached out to me. I was like, of course I know who that is. So it's just so nice that our world is small enough that like we get a chance to like, talk to the people who we fangirl from afar.
Absolutely. It's so much fun. So, do you find, working with wire and such, do you find that you work a lot with beads, and do you incorporate beads into your knitting or your crochet?
That's a great question. And yes and no. So when I'm like let's make this cute hat that I found, or oh, this person found something that they want me to make. I'll learn how to do that.
Right.
I haven't really done a whole lot. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've done anything really on like a broad scope of like a project with beads. But since our mutual delightful friend Caitlin was here and taught me tubular bead crochet, can I show off for a second?
Yes.
I actually brought down something that I made, and I'm going to show. Look at me!
Look at that.
Caitlin, look what I made!
That is so pretty.
It's not anything yet. It's just on like a little thing. But right? So this is actually crochet. And it took me, let's see, I'm trying to think of the first time I tried to learn how to do this. And it was a really long time ago. I think it might have been before I had my kid.
I
like 10 years.
I watched that.
And she came and totally taught me in an hour.
I watched that Facebook Live with you guys. Even I learned stuff I didn't know. Like I was like, Caitlin, you taught me, and I was just so impressed. I was on vacation, and I pulled it up and I was watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so awesome. Like it was like all of my worlds colliding into one little space, and it just made me so happy.
Right?
But it's just such a neat little technique to be able to do, because it does incorporate everything. And I do know that there are people, a lot of people who will crochet with wire. Do you ever do that?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. Did you see my necklace that I'm wearing today? This is crocheted with wire. I don't know if you can see, but I did this for one of the Beetle on Facebook Lives a couple weeks ago now. It's crocheted on 26 gauge wire. So it's fun to be able to use all different kinds of materials. And because I can, like, I know the basics of crochet and the basics of knitting, there's so much crossover in the, I don't want to call them crafts, but in the crafts.
I love that. I love that.
So when you guys go through like planning sessions for different tools or wires or whatever you're going to develop, how much is it? How much do other crafts ever play into your role of designing stuff or tools for people to use? Like I guess I mean I've never really thought of, oh, this yarn would be great for beading. Like I guess with a fingering yarn.
Oh, I
like,
lost you for a second.
Oh, can you hear me now? Any luck?
I can. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay,
kind
good.
of coming in and coming out. What I think you're asking is if we consider other crafts while we're designing and developing new tools. Because I did do new product development for a while, and I'm still involved in the new things that we're bringing to market. And it's interesting because we're so focused on jewelry making all the time, really, because that's our bread and butter. We make wire with the intent of people making jewelry, which is why I love being someone who likes to explore all different kinds of crafts. Because once we have something, then I start thinking, well, what else can we do with it? Like, how can I wander up and down the aisles of Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby, or in our neck of the woods, AC Moore, or my local beads or craft store, and kind of see how something like a bead spinner can work with another craft, or something like wire can work in scrapbooking, where there's so many different crossovers, and I can't and you can't be the only people who have a workshop filled with paper crafts and rubber stamping supplies and ink and what else do I have down there? And the die cut machines. And like, there's so many of these things that all work together. And I had mentioned earlier, my dad is a woodworker. He's actually made me some beautiful pendants, just pieces of wood, but in like abstract shapes and beautiful designs. And I haven't had an opportunity to really figure out, do I want to wire wrap them? Do I want to bezel them with seed beads? Do I want to do a combination of both? But it's such a testament to, when you're crafty and when you're creative, there's so many different things that you can, the different ways that you can go. So do we necessarily think about it as we're developing products? I always have it in the back of my head. And I always love to show different ways of using things in addition to making jewelry.
I think that's smart. I think that's really smart. So you guys over
there at Beadalon, you were one of the first companies that really got on the trend of doing Facebook Live. Everything the people want to know.
We have so much fun on Facebook Live, and you're coming. And is it the end of October?
I think so.
You're coming on,
girl. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening tomorrow.
I know, but you like decorate your house first, and then we'll figure it out. So to find me, or to find Beadalon, we're on Facebook. Just search Beadalon and we'll go right there. I do our Facebook Lives at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time on Thursday afternoon. Okay. So Thursday afternoon at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. And usually I do a project. So it depends on what's coming up. If there's a holiday coming up, or something that I'm teaching coming up, or something that we're developing in the office coming up. But it's fun, and people, just like this, they ask questions, we answer questions. We always do a giveaway. Our giveaway is live. So it's a little added incentive to come and hang out with me for 45 minutes to an hour. But last week we had my friend Emily Scott came and made, actually I have them right here. I'll just show you to give you a sense.
Oh, those are cute.
These really fun earrings. Aren't those gorgeous?
Those are so cute. And
they're so easy and so manageable. It's a really good kind of starter project for somebody who wants to dabble with metal work. And I give tips and tricks, and we always have a good time. And I learn as much from the audience as I hopefully I am teaching as well. So it's a really, really nice adventure. And we do all kinds of YouTube videos. And just if you go to Beadalon.com, you find all of the stuff, all the social media links.
Perfect. So that would lead me to my next question. If somebody is listening to us today, maybe they're just like, yeah, I've seen that beetle on wire, I've seen all these tools, but I just don't know what to do with them. How would somebody go into like just starting? Like for me, I literally just bought it and just kind of played with it. I didn't even I'm at the age where it didn't even occur to me to look at YouTube for whatever reason. I don't know. I just played. But
Well, that's the thing too. Like we like learning and figuring it out. Like I like someone, like I'll look at something that somebody's made and it brings me greater satisfaction to figure it out myself sometimes. And if I can't figure it out or if I'm stumped, then I'll go on YouTube or on the internet or call the person. But I love figuring it out on my own. Does Beadalon have food grade silicone beads? No, we do not. That's an interesting question. That just caught my eye. Somebody commented with that question. I just totally lost my train of thought.
Where can people start for learning?
Oh, where do people start? So the easiest place I think to start is on the Beadalon YouTube channel. Okay. We have videos that go over everything from crimping to simple loops to I want to make this project. How do I make this project? But it's actually a really good question, Marley, and I'm glad that you asked it because we're in the process of we're in the process of revamping our website. And one of the things that we take for granted often is that people come to Beadalon and they already know what they're looking for. They already know where to start. But I didn't know where to start when I first went to the Beadalon website to look for these things. So all of the information is there, but one of the things that I'm working on is really figuring out how to boil it down to like, okay, I want to make a necklace. I need a spool of wire. I need crimp tubes. I need a crimping pliers, and here's the video on how to crimp. And here are like 5 tips and tricks of how to make a piece of jewelry. So instead of being like, okay, like I'm going to sort through all of these Facebook lives to see where Meredith actually did that, it's going to be a little bit more obvious for people who just want to get started. I want to make a stretchy bracelet. How do I get started making a stretchy bracelet? Mm-hmm. Or I want to jump in and make a crazy beaded focal with all kinds of embellishments. That might be a little bit of baby steps first. But if you want to do that, you can jump into that too. But one of the things that Beadalon really prides itself on is our education and instruction. So our website is a really, really good resource for all of those things.
That's great. That is so awesome. And then
Caitlin is texting me as we're talking, and she says that I'm supposed to ask you, what other materials do you have other than wire that people could crochet with?
So, oh my gosh. Okay. You're a troublemaker. So the example that I showed is actually on something called Elon. It's a Tex 210 upholstery thread. So that's really good to crochet. That's actually my go-to material for crochet. I've actually crocheted Beadalon bead stringing wire, but I think what she is leading me into so beautifully is elasticity. And so one of the things that we showed on one of our Facebook Lives, this is actually stretchy. Yeah, you can see that it's stretchy.
Yeah.
So this is a material called elasticity, and you would use this to make stretch bracelets, like a stretchy bracelet. But these are these kind of really cool, funky African beads, and I just chain stitch, super easy. And it's just a really fun. I can double it over, but it's stitchy. So I don't know if that might be too more is more.
I think that's awesome. You know what? I love
the chain stitch and adding beads. I love that. I think that is just so much fun. That's actually one of the ways when I teach bead crochet, we do that. I show them how to add beads to their basic crochet, and then we will do chains with beads added because it's a great, easy thing to do and make a really cute piece.
And I think also when you're used to front post, back post, full turns, all of like whatever you're making to like just do a change stitch. It must be so liberating.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you have something fun at the end that, you don't necessarily need a clasp or anything. It just fits right over your head, and it's just pretty great. It's pretty great. I love it. I love talking to you, and I feel so bad that I've kept you for like 2.5 hours.
I've never had more fun hanging out with you.
Driving in my car, walking around my house, watching me pull out of my garage.
For today.
I feel like you need to come over and visit now that you've seen everything. Oh, you froze on me. Hopefully I'm not frozen on your end. You're so funny. Okay, so.
I think sometimes what happens when we do our Facebook Lives, it'll freeze, but it's actually still going.
Okay.
So if like other people are seeing the frozen, if people are watching it later on, it's fine.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, so we'll see how it all goes. I have no idea. What the weird thing for me is the screen. So I have it on split screen right now, and your screen all of a sudden will change size all of a sudden out of nowhere. Like I'm not touching anything, and all of a sudden it gets really big, and I'm like, what's going on? So we'll have to figure out what's going on there. Do a little troubleshooting. But it is the time in the yeah, you are the guinea pig. It is a time in the show that we give away prizes, and I have been told that you have a prize for a live listener and somebody who leaves a comment on the show notes. And everybody, I will put the show notes, a link to the show notes in the video description of this video. I had it in one of the other ones that we planned, and it just didn't make it over to this one. So I will put it up so you can find it. But if you are listening live, I want you to please write in the pop-up chat, I love Beadalon. I love Beadalon, okay? And if you do that, you will be entered for a chance to win what, Meredith?
Okay, so you guys just did such a fun project. I haven't had a chance to make it yet, but I am going to. So it was a bangle, and I know Caitlin's in the comments, and she's probably going to post it right now. It was a bangle using our 14 gauge artistic wire with our artistic wire large wire crimp bead. And Caitlin made it a bangle and then crocheted with a single crochet stitch all around it, and then added a tassel. And it is so cool and such a great kind of crossover project where you're doing a little bit of wire work, a lot of crochet, and then if you can add some beads for embellishment. So the materials to make that project are what I'm going to be giving for our giveaway. It's 14 gauge wire, the artistic wire, large wire, crimps, and then a specific crimp tool. I know I'm using a lot of bead jargon, but if you read Peter's perspective, trying to explain it to a fiber artist rather than the other way around, I hope I'm making sense.
Yes, you are.
Okay, good. So anyway, so to make the bangle from the Beadalon materials, you would need the 14 gauge wire, and I'm just kind of looking down to make sure that I'm saying all of the information. I have it up on my screen. The artistic wire crimp tools, and then the tool in order to finish it. And then you would just have to reference the blog post on the Marley Bird blog for the instructions.
Yes.
So yeah, we're happy to do that.
That's so cool. So you're going to get all of the materials to make the really cool bangle that Caitlin designed, you guys. She did write an entire blog post, as Meredith mentioned, over on my website, marleybird.com, where she also has instructions for DIY shawl pins also, which are fantastic. So I know that all of those links are in the show notes as well. You can check that out. And so, Meredith, you know what? I know that you have the chat open over there. Do you want to randomly select a winner? It's probably better for you because you have a better connection than I do.
Okay, that's a lot of pressure. All right, I think I heard when you were doing it once, you were like, okay, start scrolling and then tell me when.
Yes, that's what I do.
Okay. So I am currently scrolling,
and I'll say stop.
I'm looking at the scroll. Okay, and I am on. Where's my cursor? I am on Dawn Tennyson.
There you go. So Dawn Tennyson. All right, so let me write Dawn at Dawn Tennyson. Got it. And so she's the lucky winner. I'm gonna say congrats. I know, isn't that fun? I think that's like the funnest part of the whole show is scrolling and be like, who's the winner? You know, the only time I've ever cursed on a podcast, I said the S word, and it was because somebody was talking to me, then all of a sudden they screamed, "Stop!" And I was like, "Oh!" And I said that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." But it was just like, it startled me because I'm so worried about, and I'm listening to their story, and then they just scream stop, and I was like, "Ah!" Anyways, so Dawn, let's see, Dawn needs to email us. Let me tell her to email us. Let's see. Please email us winner@yarnthingpodcast.com. I know.
There's just like send us a private message. We'll figure it out.
So I'm going to ask her for her mailing address, right?
Okay. And then you'll send that to me and we'll send it out.
Yes, Caitlin is in charge of that email. Yeah, Caitlin is in charge of it. She'll send it to you and you send to her because Lord knows I don't know what's coming in my mail anymore. I don't even know.
Well, are you living out of boxes right now?
No.
I can't even imagine.
My mother, God bless her, she has been home while I've been traveling, undoing everything. Like, she's put my entire kitchen together. The only thing I have in boxes are a lot of my clothes, and that's because I have a, one of those closet people coming over to do my closet, because I have so many clothes. I need like double racks, and they're heavy clothes because the metal rack is just like, it's already bowing like this. I'm like, that's just not gonna do. And so I'm like, honey, I need help. So I'm lucky. A lot of the boxes are put away, with the exception of my office. Like, that is completely in boxes and bags. I actually have to go back to Colorado Friday to load another truck. Long story. It's literally everything from my studio office, except my equipment. I have my equipment, but it's everything from my studio, and we're going to drive that back next weekend. And so then I will be officially done in Colorado, with the exception of selling my house. So I have 2 mortgages right now. So those of you who've ever wanted to support me, please share my YouTube video and go to my website. If you want to buy a pattern, I would love that. Because, dear God, I'm bleeding money like nobody's business. My husband's like, make it stop, make it stop. So
It's a fresh start. It's a new beginning. It's exciting.
it's exciting. It's scary. It's nerve-wracking. It's challenging. It's all of the above. You know what I mean? It's just so much, and it was so fast. The move was so fast.
I felt it like it was fast just watching your journey from afar.
Yeah.
I was getting nervous and
Yeah. I was living like, we're totally getting sidetracked. We're living like a house of cards. If one thing would have fallen, the whole thing would have just crashed. But, I always say, I'm trying to walk the path that I'm supposed to be walking, and we must be doing what we're supposed to do, because everything just fell into place. And like, we're in the house, the kids, like, we closed on our new house on Monday. The kids started school on Wednesday. I flew to New York on Wednesday. Like, everything is just, it's just insane. It's just insane right now. But hey, I'm here. I get to talk to you. We made this work, as crazy as it is. And so it's a lot of fun. But anyways, let's make sure we tell people who are not watching live that they have a chance to win as well. All they need to do is go to the show notes and leave a comment in the comment section using a keyword that lets us know that they did watch the show. So what should their keyword be?
Beetle on Rocks.
Beetle on Rocks. I love that. So make sure you use the keyword Beetle on Rocks in the show notes comment section, and you will be entered for a chance to win. Is it the same prize? Okay, so you get a chance to win. That sounds great. Well, Meredith, I ran out of the house without my battery, and I just had a notice pop up on my computer. It says low battery. So, this is so fitting for everything. But I want to say thank you so much for joining me on the show. Thank you for all your patience. We'll have you on again, and hopefully it'll be less adventuresome, but maybe. You know what? Maybe next time we could if we can get this all to work, we could do like this is how we do it from your end, and maybe I'm doing it on my end at the same time, and that would be cool. Like, we could try out all sorts. You'll be the guinea pig all the time.
I would be happy to. And we should say, so in October, I think it's the second or third week in October, you guys are coming to us.
Yes.
And we're going to do a really, really fun project.
I'm very
So
excited.
it'll be another opportunity to cross over all of our friends.
That'll be really cool. I love it. I love going out there, and I'm not that far away anymore, so it'll be a good time. All right, so let's see if I can open this up without messing everything up and see how to end everything, because I don't even know. All right, I think it is. All right, Meredith, thank you for joining me on the show. If everybody can follow you on Beadalon, on the Facebook page, on Instagram, and all those good places, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, guys, I will be back tomorrow with another podcast, maybe. So we'll try and make it work. But thanks for hanging out here with us today, and just allowing me to try and do what I do. I love all of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.